Many Halo fans have been waiting to learn what Halo Infinite's campaign was like before a significant amount of content was cut. Well, I'm happy to announce that I'm going to reveal specific cut content in this video report that will create a clear idea of the campaign that Halo fans should have experienced, along with what video games 343 Industries used for inspiration. The information is from the same source that I used for my report about 343's former leadership and how they ruined the campaign's development. So, let's get started by revealing something I have been trying to figure out since Halo Infinite was released. Where is the UNSC Infinity? Well, I know where and what it was supposed to be. As shown in these early concept images, the Infinity was supposed to crash land on Zeta Halo and serve as a hub for Master Chief. Yes, the Infinity was going to be a hub on Zeta Halo, and knowing this breaks my heart. There would have been UNSC soldiers and scientists in the Infinity that gave Master Chief quests. Also, one version of this hub used some assets from the cancelled Halo 5 multiplayer project called Project Infinity, which was a multiplayer hub on the Infinity. I uploaded a video report about this project that reveals more information. But 343 cut the crashed Infinity and changed the hub a lot. It morphed into a UNSC compound, then several of those throughout the ring, which would pop up as you cleared an area, and ultimately the simple forward operating bases that made it into the game. In other words, the hub was downgraded from the Infinity to these forward operating bases. About 2 weeks ago, a former 343 developer shared this image of a stronghold system on a test map. My source says this was part of a larger idea for the campaign, where factions controlled certain areas of the map, like in Far Cry 5, and each faction was controlled by a warlord. The warlords were found at the strongholds, and each stronghold had a barracks, weapon base, and vehicle base surrounding them. If these support bases weren't taken out first, it would be extremely difficult to destroy a stronghold. The warlords' personal guards were stationed at the barracks and had increased stats. The weapon base had normal enemies with legendary weapon variants, like the ones in Halo 5, and the vehicle base had special boss vehicles. 343 looked at collecting upgrades at bases like in Ghost Recon Wildlands. For example, the weapon base could have a part that you would take back to your hub and use to upgrade accuracy or some other stats. World events in these areas would be prisoner convoys and brute patrols, and when you cleared a stronghold, the UNSC moved in and world events became UNSC patrols. 343 didn't get too far into development for this stronghold concept before it was scrapped. Warlords had their own logo, which was branded on their vehicles and other places, similar to the white hand of Isengard from Lord of the Rings. 343 experimented with buffs that allowed warlords to buff their units to increase difficulty. They also experimented with alarms, which, if set off, would buff enemy defenders. If you attacked a stronghold, alarms would sound and there would be a big announcement that bad guys were coming. Also, some form of dungeons was in the plan from a very early stage. 343 looked at Mass Effect Andromeda and how it used dungeons. Lastly, 343 took inspiration from many games for the campaign. I already mentioned Far Cry 5, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and Mass Effect Andromeda. Unfortunately, the content that was inspired by these games was cut. But the open world of Zeta Halo did make it into the campaign, and that was heavily inspired by Zelda Breath of the Wild. 343 planned to add different biomes, like the ones found in Breath of the Wild, to create a similar vast world. Unfortunately, 343 was not able to add the biomes. Now, I know there are a lot of questions about cut content that weren't answered by this report, but all this information gives us our first clear look at what Halo Infinite's campaign should have been like. I hope what I revealed does not upset you too much, but Halo fans deserve to know. With that said, let me know your thoughts in the comments section and stay tuned for my next video. Peace.